Melinda prepares to explain something that at first glance seems simple, but soon reveals a deeper story about honesty, responsibility, and the quiet strength of admitting when you're wrong. P. Good morning. It's a familiar greeting, but for those standing before the bench, those two words can sound like the beginning of judgment. P. The charge against Melinda? Not a violent act, not a crime of greed or anger, but a technical violation, one that many might dismiss as nothing serious. Judge, you're charged with improper display of plates. Did you have one plate on the car? Her voice is small, apologetic, and then comes the explanation, the kind that reveals not lawlessness, but confusion, perhaps even trust misplaced. One plate. Oh yes, her voice is small, apologetic, and then comes the explanation, the kind that reveals not lawlessness, but confusion, perhaps even trust misplaced. Another plate borrowed for the short trip home. But in the eyes of the law, that simple act crosses a clear line. Judge sternly, that's exactly what you're not supposed to do. The courtroom falls quiet. The tone shifts from casual explanation to accountability. Because when it comes to vehicles, plates aren't just metal rectangles with numbers. They are proof of identity, of registration, of insurance, of legality. Without that, the system begins to break down. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of it. He wasn't aware either. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And yet, in this small courtroom, it's often the truth behind so many mistakes. The judge listens carefully. There's no sign of deceit in her tone, just the weariness of someone trying to make things right. Behind every minor violation, there's usually a human story. And in Melinda's case, it's not about defiance. It's about trust. A wife trusting her husband's decision, never imagining that an honest mistake could be considered a crime. Judge, and what happens with insurance? If you're driving two cars with one registration, that means either one or both cars are not insured. It's a practical question and a dangerous truth. When someone swaps plates between vehicles, it doesn't just violate traffic law. It removes the guarantee of insurance, leaving everyone on the road vulnerable. Melinda, we've registered it now. He just bought it. She's quick to clarify, the mistake has been corrected, but the moment remains. A lapse, a brief moment of wrong judgment that could have led to serious consequences. Judge, well, how long were you driving the car? Melinda, just 1 hour, just that one time. The courtroom holds its breath for a moment, and then, softly but unmistakably, the judge replies, I don't believe that. It's not said cruelly, but with experience. Because judges, especially in small courts, have seen it all. The white lies, the excuses, the attempts to soften truth. The courtroom laughter fades into uneasy silence. For a moment, Melinda's story stands suspended. Between innocence and suspicion, the judge turns to Inspector Quinn, a seasoned officer known for his sharp memory and no-nonsense tone. Judge, Inspector Quinn, what do we know? Miss Melinda had one plate on one car and one on another. Her husband did this, but she's representing that it was just for a very brief time, just when they were stopped. It's a balanced response, acknowledging the infraction, yet recognizing that intent matters. The courtroom relaxes slightly. Inspector Quinn, with irony, see how good we are? It only takes us that little bit of time to find the offender. Judge, you mean the Providence Police Department is that good? You're on top of it that day. Even in justice, there's room for humor. The tension breaks. The lesson, however, remains. Judge, serious again. Melinda, I think you want to tell your husband that he owes you $85. Melinda, quietly. I tried. It's a simple fine, $85, but the moment carries far more weight. For Melinda, this isn't about the money. Brah, it's about realizing how fragile trust can be, and how easily an honest mistake can turn into a costly lesson. In the eyes of the law, responsibility isn't shared, it's personal. Even if her husband placed those plates, she was the one behind the wheel. And that means accountability, however small, rests with her. Cases like Melinda's are small in scale, but they echo something bigger. Every day, in cities around the world, people make similar decisions. Quick shortcuts, harmless assumptions, never realizing that those small moments can spiral into legal consequences. It reminds us that the law isn't only about punishment. It's about prevention. It's about structure, the invisible framework that keeps society safe, predictable, and fair. And when someone bends that structure, even unintentionally, they force the system to remind them, gently but firmly, that rules exist for a reason. Yet, what makes this courtroom remarkable isn't its strictness. It's the humanity behind the bench. The judge doesn't shame her. He doesn't lecture. He listens, and he teaches. Judge, tell your husband he owes you $85. It's more than a fine. It's a shared lesson between two people, a husband and wife, who simply tried to make life easier, but learned that shortcuts can cost more than they save. As Melinda leaves the courtroom, the weight of the moment lingers. Not the embarrassment, not the fine, but the understanding. The world moves fast. We all make choices in haste. Some out of fear, some out of trust, and some out of love. But the road to responsibility is paved not with excuses, but with acknowledgement. For Melinda, it wasn't about law-breaking, it was about learning. And for the judge, it was about compassion wrapped in authority. In the end, both walked away, having done their part. One learned a lesson. The other reminded her that justice can be stern, but it can also be kind. In every courtroom, beyond the verdicts and fines, there lies something deeper. A reminder that the smallest mistakes can hold the greatest lessons. This was the story of Melinda, and the $85 mistake that taught her, and all of us, that doing the right thing isn't just about following rules. It's about respecting the trust that law and life place in us.